Hi there, my name is Brent Cubitt from Lake Orion High School. I'm a math instructional coach, a teacher, and also the co-department chair at the high school. And we're going to talk about is your child on the right math track? And then we're also going to hear from Steve Bodia later in the presentation, who is also a instructional coach at the high school along with the teacher and department chair. So here's what we will talk about throughout this presentation. We want to talk about and go through what we currently offer at Lake Orion High School from a math perspective, and then the course progressions. We want to talk about math support that we have at the middle and high school levels. We'll get into the math of the SAT a little bit, and then some college and career planning. And we came up with some characteristics of a student that's well suited for accelerated math. And then we also have some test out procedures at the high school, and we'll talk about how that works. We've included our emails so you can send us a note if any questions come up that don't get answered throughout this presentation. So let's get into the progression of math courses throughout middle school and high school. So to graduate at Lake Orion High School, there are 4 credits of math required. And that's actually a state requirement. Content-wise, through Algebra 3, we'll cover all of the mandated Common Core state standards. And then also, during their senior year, they're required to take one math-related course. Now, that can be a course coming from the math department to get a math credit, but there are also courses through other departments that count as a math experience that will fulfill that requirement. So we thought this was a good visual to show kind of the progression throughout math courses, K through 12. So elementary students, mathematic-wise, all tend to be in the same place. Students aren't accelerated, but once they get into the middle level, students are allowed to move faster through some of the math. And then we also offer support to some of our students that need additional support in the middle level. And at the high school level, our classes all kind of point toward the same end goal, which is Algebra 3, or if it's our accelerated track, Honors Advanced Algebra. But many go above and beyond both Algebra 3 and Honors Advanced Algebra to take some higher level math to get them ready for college or for some career goals that they do have. So at Lake Orion High School, we have a unique schedule. We're on a block schedule, but we call it a modified block. So what that means is there's 4 periods per day, and each period is a 90-minute period. Now inside of each one of those periods are broken up into 42-minute year-long classes, they call them. So from a math perspective, in the middle school, they go Math 6, Math 7, Math 8. This is our traditional schedule. And then students are scheduled or can be scheduled into a semester block class, so a 90-minute block, or they could be scheduled into a year-long class, which is 45 minutes for 1 credit. So the block will be 1 credit, only a half year long, but it's twice as long, 90 minutes. Whereas a year-long class goes 45 minutes, but it's the entire year. Either way, taking 1 math credit or 1 math class per year meets the state content standards requirement through Algebra 3. So with our unique schedule, students are able to take multiple block classes or multiple math credits over a school year. So in this example, this student, their freshman year, they're taking Algebra 1, the first half, or the first block, the first semester, and then they're doubling up to take Geometry the second semester. So this allows students to reach pre-calc or even beyond, depending how often a student may want to double up. So if you see Algebra 1 and Geometry their freshman year, then they can take Algebra 2 their sophomore year, Algebra 3 their junior year, which will get them to pre-calc. Maybe they wanted to double up both 9th and 10th grade years, and then they can get to pre-calc their junior year. After they get through, there's a pre-calc and a calculus. There's further course options such as AP Stats, data science, and then regular calculus also. Our accelerated program begins in middle school with 6th and 7th grade students taking Advanced Math 6 and Advanced Math 7. Now, Advanced Math 6 covers all of the 6th grade standards and half of the 7th grade standards. Advanced Math 7 covers the rest of the 7th grade standards and all of the 8th grade standards. Then in 8th grade, the accelerated students take high school Algebra 1, and then this top example shows if a student was to take one accelerated course per year, that they would get to Honors Pre-Calc. So Honors Advanced Algebra, Honors Trigonometry, and then Honors Pre-Calc. Now, most of our accelerated students do double up at least once during grades 9 through 11 to reach AP Calculus. So in this example, it shows their freshman year taking Honors Geometry, their sophomore year taking the Honors Advanced Algebra and Honors Trigonometry, taking them as a block because all of our accelerated courses are block classes, and then Honors Trig their junior year, which would get them to AP Calc their senior year. Some will actually double up twice to reach AP Calc during their junior year, and then they will take College Mathematics or AP Stats their senior year. While not required, we do offer at Lake Orion High School a large number of math options beyond the state requirements. Most of our students explore at least one of these electives, whether it's in an advanced math course such as pre-calc or calculus, or in an application course such as statistics, strategy game design or board game design, or data science. We do have a new math class we're offering in 2023-2024 at Lake Orion High School called Explorations in Data Science. So the goal of this data science class is to bridge the gap between stats, computer science, and then traditional math. So students can learn through project-based applications of provided and gathered data sets based around student interests. So understanding and working with data around us used to be a requirement for specific careers, but it really has become a necessary skill to navigate our daily lives. We are exposed to so much data that we need to be able to sift through things we're being told. And we came across the stat as we were developing the class that 90% of the world's data has been created within just the last 2 years. So we really need to be able to understand data, work with data, and teach our students to deal with data. In Lake Orion, we offer an array of math supports at both the middle school and the high school level to ensure all our students can achieve their goals. So let's talk about those supports. In the middle school years, Lake Orion offers some students a math lab in addition to their Math 6, Math 7, and Math 8 class. This math lab pre-teaches the current content that they're working on in their math class, works on problem solving and review strategies to help develop and enhance their skills in a smaller setting. Also, math interventionists push into these classes to help support these students as well. At the high school level, math supports include a 9th grade math lab that coincides with their Algebra 1 class. Both of these classes run back-to-back as year-long classes to give students the best opportunity for success in Algebra 1 and beyond. So you can see math lab would be scheduled first, and then right after that, those students would go to their Algebra 1 class. Math labs are co-taught with 2 math teachers, and math labs pre-teach the Algebra 1 skills instead of constantly trying to catch students up. Year-long Algebra 1 courses have learning support specialists in place to help students work on group and problem-solving strategies to develop and enhance critical math skills. Beyond Algebra 1, or beyond Math Lab and Algebra 1 year-long classes, in subsequent years, students are enrolled in year-long geometry and Algebra 2 courses where they continue to receive support through pacing and with additional learning support specialists.
Now that we've taken a look at the math course options here at Lake Orion, we want to take some time and look at a few post-secondary schools and programs. Specifically, what math course requirements might they have, as well as how does the SAT and standardized testing apply? We'll start by taking a look at Michigan State. MSU admissions recommend that high school students prepare by enrolling in mostly academic courses, including at least 3 during their senior year. Both Lake Orion's and the Michigan Merit Curriculum requirements meet MSU's application minimum of 3 years of math with at least 2 in algebra and 1 in geometry. Where applicable and where students can be successful, MSU encourages students to take honors and AP courses. For reference, the middle 50% of MSU's 2022 freshman class entered with a high school GPA between 3.5 and 4.0 and SAT scores between 1130 and 1350. Most colleges and universities require math placement testing before new student orientation. At Michigan State, all students with an SAT score below 660 in math are required to take a math placement assessment online. This ensures that to start college out, students are in the correct math course and can be successful in their first college math class. The University of Michigan has many of the same requirements or recommendations as Michigan State University. They take into consideration your high school GPA and whether you've taken honors or AP courses that were available to you. They will consider your standardized test scores if you decide to provide them. And in 2021, the middle 50% of U of M students, or U of M freshmen, had a GPA of 3.9 and SAT scores between 1400 and 1540, with a math score specifically between 710 and 790. You'll see a lot of similarities here as we consider Oakland University. OU looks for a cumulative GPA above 3.2, as well as the number and types of college preparatory courses you've taken during high school. Lower GPAs could be considered if the admissions team feels that you're still academically prepared. This could mean a positive trend in grades throughout your high school career, or the success in more difficult courses. A minimum of 3 years of college preparatory math is encouraged, which, as we mentioned before, both Lake Orion's traditional and honors courses would suffice. For alternative post-secondary options, such as art or trade schools, a traditional path through Algebra 3 meeting state graduation requirements is sufficient. For example, the College of Career Studies does not mention any specific or additional math requirements beyond a high school degree and transcript. However, with the wide spectrum of post-secondary training and career options, each program may have slightly different math and academic requirements. Now is a good time to do that research so you can make the best high school math plan possible. While we can't look at every single college during our presentation, we hope your takeaway is that most colleges you may plan to attend will be looking at your high school GPA, as well as the number and difficulty of the math courses you took during high school. This could mean considering taking above and beyond the minimum required courses, or even taking honors and AP courses that you could do well in.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Reese, and I am an SAT prep teacher here at Lake Orion High School, as well as a math teacher. I've been teaching math here for 16 years, 17 years or so, and I've been teaching SAT prep for 10 of those years. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about math and the SAT and the PSAT. All students in grades 8 through 11 are going to take the PSAT or the SAT. So students in grades 8 and 9 take PSAT 8-9. Students in grade 10 take the PSAT or PSAT 10, and then students in grade 11 take the SAT. All of these students are going to take these assessments in April. We do them in April of every year. This school year, those tests will be given on April 12th and 13th. The juniors will be taking the SAT on Wednesday the 12th, and the PSAT will be the 12th and the 13th, depending on grade level I'm not sure of the exact schedule this year, but 9th graders will be one day and 10th graders will be on the other day. And then 8th graders generally take the PSAT the same day that the 9th graders take the PSAT. So whichever of the 2 days that is. Taking the school day SAT as a junior is a graduation requirement for Lake Orion Community Schools. So if a student is absent on test day, then they'll have to make the test up on the makeup days at the end of April. And if they can't make them up at the end of April, then they will be required to take the SAT during the school day test the following year. It is a graduation requirement. All students need to take that test. Students can choose to take the SAT early, before the April date, or retake it after the fact if they don't like the scores that they got. Students can't choose to retake the PSAT on their own. The PSAT is more of a snapshot. It's a once-a-year thing. You can't retake it. We, as a district, use it for student growth, and then it helps you see, how your student is progressing throughout the years. So again, students can retake the SAT. It is given a bunch of times throughout the year, January, March, April, for the school day test in April. There is a May test, a June test, an August test, November, October, November, there's a bunch of them. It does cost $60 to register to take the SAT. That's the on-time fee. There's also a late fee. And then there are also fee waivers available if your student qualifies for that. Generally, if a student qualifies for free or reduced lunch, they'll probably qualify for a fee waiver. They can talk to their counselor about fee waivers if that's something that you think you might qualify for, that you're interested in getting more information about. And then that retaking it on a Saturday, there's a lot of test centers as well. I know Oakland University is one that's nearby, and you'll just have to look on the College Board website to see which centers are available for the date that you're interested in. One other test that is part of this series but is not listed on this particular slide, there is the PSAT NMSQT that is offered in October. NMSQT is National Merit Scholar Qualifying Test. So this test is for juniors, fall of their junior year. It's a different test than the PSAT that they take when they are sophomores in April, and it's different from the SAT that they will take as juniors in April. So it's another chance to take a PSAT. It's more practice. If you have a student with testing anxiety, it's a great opportunity to just get another test administration done and kind of get a feel for it. But it's also the National Merit Scholar Qualifying Test. So if you have a student who is a high scorer and they're looking to be a National Merit Scholar, this is the test that they have to take, and they have to. The program has a cut score that they use each year, so you have to score above the cut score to be a qualifier to then apply for the National Merit Scholarship program. And again, counselors can give you more information about that if you're interested. As you may be aware, many colleges and universities have gone standardized test score optional. There was a little bit of a wave happening pre-COVID, but COVID really accelerated it. So a lot of schools have, in the last 2 or 3 years, have been making scores optional or not even looking at standardized test scores at all. This could change. Many schools may change their policies as we get past, the high schoolers who were affected by COVID shutdowns and ability to take the SAT. So you're really going to need to look at the individual school and find out, are they requiring test scores or not? Also, as you might have heard, some colleges, if you do submit your SAT scores, some schools will use the SAT scores to determine math placement instead of asking you to take a placement test. Some schools are still going to use placement tests. There's some may only use one or the other. Again, you're going to need to look into it. do your research for the schools that you're interested in. If you are wondering what is a good score as your child is starting to look at college, the college readiness benchmark, according to College Board, is a 530 for math. So they're looking, if your student is getting a 530 in math, that represents that they are ready for college level math. And I know I have a senior who just applied to colleges, and some of this can kind of be a little overwhelming to look into. I really recommend using the website bigfuture.collegeboard.org. It is a great site with a ton of information on a whole lot of colleges. It is self-reported by colleges to College Board, and then College Board puts it all together into this Big Future website. It will let you look up pretty much any college that you're interested in. If they've given the information, you can find out what are the average SAT scores for incoming freshmen. You can find out how important things like test scores and GPA and transcripts, all those sort of things, are in their admissions process. You can find out what kind of activities they have on campus and things about what tuition is going to cost and room and board. It's got a ton of fantastic information. I strongly recommend it. And if your kid's not really sure what they want to do, it's got a great filtering tool that you can use, and you can narrow down by different majors they may be interested in, or activities on campus, or just location in the country, lots of different things. So check out that website, bigfuture.collegeboard.org. Students can also, by the way, log into that site with their College Board account and do things like saving searches and doing various things can qualify them to get scholarships through College Board. They're like randomly selected by students who are using the Big Future website. So there's some benefit there too. And also a side note on College Board accounts, if you are the parent of maybe an 8th or 9th grader watching this, your child needs to have their own College Board account. Don't create an account for them using your email address. Make sure they have one under their own email address. It will make everything so much easier for them going throughout. So just a tip there. Make sure that student account, not a parent account. Okay, so at this point, perhaps you have looked at your kids' PSAT scores on the College Board website, you've started doing a little research, and you're coming to the determination that your student needs to increase their SAT score. Maybe it's not what they're hoping it can be. What are the options? Well, we've got a couple of options here for you. The first one, juniors can enroll in our SAT prep class. Like I said, I teach SAT prep. I've taught it for about 10 years now. It's a fantastic course. It's taught by 3 teachers, so myself as the math teacher and then 2 English teachers. And we break the kids up into groups and they get to spend an equal amount of time learning about the math test, the English test, and the essay that they will write for the school day test. So it's a really well-rounded course. They get a little bit of everything. It's only 10 weeks long, so it's not too hard to fit into a schedule. So I do really recommend our SAT prep course, especially if your student is maybe not a real self-starter and they need a little more push to get going on that SAT prep review stuff. We also really recommend using the official SAT practice through Khan Academy. We actually use this in our SAT prep course. The Khan Academy practice is fantastic because not only is it free, it is the official practice of College Board. So this is a partnership between the two, between College Board and Khan Academy. So you're really getting SAT practice. Other companies that are going to give you books or online courses are going to give you SAT style practice, that they've looked at SAT questions and they've written their own that they think are in the same style. But these questions come from College Board, so they are official. And in my opinion, the absolute best part, it's personalized. So students log into their Khan Academy account and they can link it to their College Board account, and then Khan will adjust all of the practice skills to their level based on how they've done on prior PSAT tests that they've taken. Things that they're good at, they're going to get harder questions to practice. Things where they need a little more work, they'll have easier questions, and then they can build their skill level up as they work their way through the practice. So Khan Academy is really a fantastic place to go to get some practice. It is my #1 recommendation aside from taking our SAT prep course. So there you go. If you have any lingering questions about SAT or SAT prep, feel free to contact me. Or your student's counselor has, if your questions are more about registration and accommodations and those sort of things for the SAT, counselors are great for that. But if you've got questions about the math content or needing help with math or any of that sort of stuff, feel free to send me an email and I'd love to help you out.
Here in Lake Orion, we want our students to be the most successful they can be, making meaningful mathematical connections while still challenging themselves to think critically and deeply. Since some of the college admissions recommendations looked at the difficulty of academic courses, specifically the enrollment in available honors and AP classes, the big question for you is, does my child fit best into accelerated math, or will they be best prepared and more successful in the traditional math sequence Brent discussed initially? We've made some observations, both from our experiences teaching all levels of traditional honors and AP math courses, as well as working with all students in different levels of classes through our instructional coaching roles. These are some characteristics you might look for in your child to help decide if they're an ideal honors math student. Most honors math students work well independently and in groups, seeking help only when necessary. They do not require detailed or repeated directions from a teacher in order to get started and moving on a problem. Honors math students are creative in thinking of things to try or to do when faced with difficult or new situations, as our honors math courses look at how can we apply our content in novel ways. These students respond well to guided discovery and challenges and show persistence in searching for solutions. Honors students find satisfaction in process rather than accepting another's solutions or help. I've seen plenty of students that are annoyed or mad by ruining a problem when you give out an answer. Our honors math students also enjoy analyzing, generalizing, deriving, proving, abstracting, and investigating relationships and solutions. They have a strong intuitive sense for the subject matter in which they can sort out key relationships quickly. Honors math students have experienced high achievement in past math courses without undue stress and show a high degree of interest and motivation in math. They're intellectually curious and are critical thinkers and have not been dependent on rote learning or tutoring. These characteristics are not the only indicator of success in difficult honors math courses. Often the most informed person is your child's current math teacher. Ask them if you need help considering a change into or out of an honors math course.
So at the end of the student's 5th grade years, students will be evaluated for advanced 6th math. Here's what we look at. So common assessments, we'll look at state assessments, nationally normed assessments, and then the student profile and the teacher input will also be considered. So students who meet the criteria could have the opportunity to test into the accelerated sequence. The tests are in June, and students need to show mastery on the content that they would have missed by moving, or they would miss by moving into the accelerated sequence. So we look for advanced on the M-step, college pathway on the middle of the year screener, and then 90% or better on district common assessments. If these criteria are met, could have the opportunity to test into the accelerated sequence. That test is in June. You should also talk to your math teacher before spring break about this. If a student performs well in Algebra 1 and with teacher recommendation, there is the possibility to schedule both Algebra 1, the first semester, and Honors Geometry, the second semester, as a 9th grader to move to the accelerated sequence. These are all conversations 9th graders will have with their Algebra 1 teacher and their counselor to make sure it's the right fit.
Finally, we wanted to talk about the process for testing out of a math course at the high school. Students have the ability to try and test out of any course at the high school. The important dates to know are that test outs are given in December and May and should be scheduled with the student's counselors. This means you'll need to be gathering materials and studying well before December or May. Testing out of a math course is difficult, as students are required to understand the extensive curriculum that would otherwise be presented during the whole course. Students need to score an 80% on the test out and would need to pass both A and B parts, meaning both the first and second term exams, to test out of a course.
We want to thank you for your time in watching this presentation. If you have questions or need additional support with something, feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we're more than happy to help. Thank you and have a great day.